Welcome back to Antigua. Still with us is Senator Londel Benjamin, head of ecclesiastical affairs, a man of faith himself. He's carved his own path in the financial and banking sector before rising to his current role. Senator, thank you so much for staying with us.
A pleasure.
Now, I have to confess, because the Bible does say confession is good for the soul. I was reading about you and I thought, why on earth would this man have worked so hard to get to the top of the banking and accounting world only to give it up to start serving like you do? Surely the money you make would have been better service to us, I thought, you know. So what happened?
I would call it divine intervention. In 2013, coming up to the general elections, the candidate for the Antigua Labour Party from my constituency, which is Rural West, resigned her position with just about 9 months to go before the election. And one day they called on me, because I've always been an activist in politics.
Okay.
So they called me and asked me if I would like to represent them in the upcoming general elections.
Oh, wow.
I said, yes, I will take up the mantle.
Now, let me ask, that decision you made, what did that mean for your career at that point?
It meant putting my career on hold at the time. And I must say as well, at that point, I owned my own firm.
Right.
I had a firm, accounting and financial services. So there were some implications. But, you know, I believe in God will provide. You know, he says cattle on 1,000 hills are his. And he says that we shall not be in want. So I spoke with my wife and she said, yes, go straight ahead. And we made the decision. She was my chief campaigner and we hit the road.
And did you win?
No, I did not win that seat because of circumstances.
Okay, but then not winning, you still stayed.
Oh, yes, it's a long haul. It's serving the people. I want to see the people of that constituency, because that is about the poorest constituency on the entire island. It's more or less a ghetto.
Wow.
So if you when you travel there, you will see the conditions and the type of improvement that is needed.
Now, one of the other things you do also is you would give free services to churches to advise them on accounting and financials.
Clubs and credit unions.
Now, that grew out of your service at that point, or was that something that came up later on for you?
No, that has always been there from ever since I became a professional. That has been my role, to provide free services to churches and clubs and non-profit organizations.
Now, in what ways, and this clearly has cost you something in terms of your career, etc. In what ways have you seen God honor the decision you've made? In what way have you seen God, as we say in church, come through for you to make you think, yep, I made the right decision?
I know it's the right decision. Look, God moves in mysterious ways. I will tell you, one time an evangelist came to my church. I'm Pentecostal.
Okay.
An evangelist came to my church and he said, write on a piece of paper the money you would like to earn monthly. And I placed on that paper $40,000 so that my tithes could be $4,000. I'm almost there, even though I'm working for government.
Wow.
You know, so that is how God repays. He says, prove me. And I believe in tithing. Tithing is one of the greatest successes of any Christian. You pay your tithes and you challenge God. He says, challenge me. Prove me. And he has always come through for me.
Now, the people you serve in your constituency and the poor people you see around the country, in what ways has the church in Antigua been a big part of serving them? In what ways is the church really bridged the gap between where you want them to be and where they are now?
Most churches in Antigua, they have what is called a feed-in program. The members would contribute things, whether it's once monthly or twice monthly. Some churches convert that into a feed-in, and some just merely pass on the distribution. So at some churches, you can get a hot meal, or you can get dry goods, so that you can feed and take care of your families.
Now, I wonder, I mean, there are Christians who'll be watching this all over the world, be it in Africa or in Europe or in the Americas or even in other parts of the Caribbean. Are there things that the Christians in those parts of the world can do to support the work of the church here? Can them coming to visit here, how does that benefit the church and not just the tourism industry?
Well, when they visit, they see the condition. And most would go back and send dry goods. They will send clothing.
Or people already do that as we
Yeah,
do.
people already do that. We get quite the barrel. We get quite a lot of barrels for churches here. Because there are some families who just do not have the means to send their children to school.
Wow.
And you get these barrels, you get clothing, you get shoes and clothing so that they can go to school. And from the local church, they get either a hot meal or they get goods to prepare the meal.
Okay.
Yeah,
and for you, Senator, what would be the pinnacle of the journey that you're doing in terms of your service in government? What for you, where are you headed? Where would you like to get to?
I want to see a total transformation of the Grays Green area. I'm having the full support of the Prime Minister. He has started a housing project in my area, which would benefit some. He's going to be building there 145 homes. So that would be a great improvement. Last week, he spoke to me about an area there where the squatters and the renters, they're not able to put down any septic on those lands. So they are using outside latrines. In 2017, we still have outside latrines in that area.
Sure.
So he has commissioned me to speak with the family, the owners of the land, to let them know that the government is not prepared to tolerate outside latrines in 2017.
Well, Senator, we probably need to come back and hear some more of what you're doing and see what God is doing with you. But thank you so much for joining us on Turning Point.
He's doing a tremendous work.